All right. All right. I don't know if you got my message, Mitch. Okay. All right. We cannot start this next topic without breaking you some news. We have good news compared to what we had last week when we were shocked that Deshaun Watson was out.
This is horrible news. What are you talking about?
I mean, it's horrible for the rest of the league, I guess.
This is terrible news. I wanted the opposite of this. I wanted a contract extension for this man.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have just announced that Matt Canada has been relieved of his duties as offensive coordinator. The Steelers appreciate Matt's hard work and dedication and wish him the best moving forward in his career. And we saw why he was fired on Sunday. Mitch, this offense sucks. Kenny Pickett's a bum, and the Cleveland Browns on a second string back, on second and third string running backs, my friend.
Backup tackles.
We have changed the culture. We have changed the tide. We have turned the tide, my friend. This is not a one-sided rivalry anymore. It hadn't been for the last couple of years, but it's official now. It's official. The Steelers fans, they can't say, "Oh, we completely own you no matter what the situation is." No. This is I can't even describe how I felt after that Sunday game. It felt so good. And the panic on Pittsburgh radio stations.
Oh,
maybe we should start Mason Rudolph next week. I don't care. Why not? Oh, to see Deontay Johnson get frustrated, to see Najee Harris complain. It feels good. It feels good.
Hey, Steelers fans, welcome to hell.
Oh,
you don't have a franchise quarterback. Welcome. Oh, you want Mason Rudolph? Oh, you want Mitch Trubisky? Oh, Kenny Pickett's still the answer. Just this preseason, Kenny Pickett's a franchise quarterback. The Steelers are a contender. Kenny Pickett could take a giant leap. Kenny Pickett is going to do anything but take a giant leap. Two gloves, Kenny Pickett is a bum. You guys finally get to see what it's like to not have a franchise quarterback. And everybody already, Mitch, Michael Penix is the guy. We need to go get Bo Nix. Go ahead. Welcome. I wish you guys all the best in the world. Because as long as it's not Caleb Williams, I'm really not concerned. And even now, I don't even know if I'm concerned if it's Caleb Williams, because that guy can't even read a college defense anymore. And Bo Nix, I mean, you might as well call him Brandon Weeden because he's been in college for about 6 years. Michael Penix, same thing. He's had 2 significant knee injuries. I don't feel bad for you whatsoever. I will never feel bad for beating the Steelers whatsoever. Your offense is atrocious. You play the wrong running back. I mean, you had a guy who had 120 some yards of total offense on 9 carries, and he wasn't out there the drive he needed to go take the lead or win the game.
Only guy in that offense was doing anything Sunday.
Yeah, your best wide receiver had 1 catch for 3 yards, maybe a couple targets, which your quarterback couldn't even throw it in the same vicinity as him half the time. TJ Watt got outplayed by Myles Garrett. First time we've been able to say that. TJ Watt was going up against a backup left tackle and backup right tackle.
Yep.
So that whole he's better than Myles Garrett right now this year. No, he's not. You can take that argument and throw it out the window because Myles Garrett was getting double teamed, triple teamed, chipped, and he was still getting back there in second Kenny Pickett and making tackles for losses. This defense is legit. I don't need to see it anymore. You think the one game that is not back the cause the defense is legit is the first one against Baltimore, but at the same time, the offense was so putrid, the defense was out there so long, and so they were gassed. And that was still when it was hot out. Like, let's be honest. It was mid-September. I mean, the defense is legit, and I'm not really concerned anymore. Defensively, I'm not concerned anymore. This team can stop anybody.
Right. Let's talk about this offense here because they weren't world beaters on Sunday. They scored the first touchdown in the opening quarter, then got 2 field goals after that, including the game winner again with Dustin Hopkins. That man is coming in clutch every week, it feels now. But I'll say this about Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He did what he had to do. I know I've said that a number of times before, but I actually mean it this time. This wasn't the guy that was going to this guy isn't a guy that can go for these long launch throws. This guy who isn't going to be the most accurate passer. We saw him airmail a couple of throws on Sunday, but that final drive saved his job, at least for the next week. I don't think we'd be sitting here talking about after signing Joe Flacco on Monday, which again, we said this like we said this on Monday. Imagine like going back to 2013 and telling ourselves, "Oh yeah, we're going to have Joe Flacco on our team at some point in the future," and it's not going to be for another 10 years. But we wouldn't be talking about him as this guy who's coming into the practice squad, will eventually be activated, and we'll see what happens. We would be talking about him as, okay, we need to get him in as a starter because it's time to panic now. We are 6-4, and we're kind of on the outside looking in, still in a wild card spot, but we need structure at quarterback. Right now, we have something at quarterback. We don't have structure, but we have something. DTR looked as good as he possibly could have on that final drive, finding Elijah Moore, finding Amari Cooper, finding David Njoku to sort of make up for a lot of the mistakes that the wide receivers and tight end had been making throughout that Sunday. There were an uncharacteristically large amount of drops from some of our usual top guys.
I'll just call him out, David Njoku.
Yeah,
call him out for
I don't know what happened there.
5 drops.
Well, he had, what was it here? Receiving, he had 7 receptions on 15 targets.
Yeah, so I think he did have, genuinely, I think he had 5 drops.
I think so.
It was bad. It was really bad. And unfortunately, that's something that's been a common occurrence throughout his career in Cleveland. He'll have weeks where he's very, very reliable, and he'll have weeks where it's, does the man have hands? Is a legitimate question sometimes. You're not going to like this.
Okay, I know what you're about to say, but go ahead.
I'm gonna phrase it this way.
All right.
Okay. Because I'm a known hater or not a fan. Kevin Stefanski should absolutely be getting Coach of the Year consideration.
Okay.
Because of what he's had to deal with. To have this team at 7-3, playing 3 different quarterbacks already, losing your best player overall in Nick Chubb, losing your starting left tackle, losing your starting right tackle, then losing your starting left tackle. Guys in and out of the lineup consistently. Yes, he absolutely deserves head coach or coach of the year recognition.
Sure.
He's just lucky there's not an offensive coach of the year award, because he'd be dead last. Because his play calling in the second half single-handedly almost allowed the Browns to lose that game. When you go into prevent defense, even though prevent offense isn't a word, we're going to call it prevent offense. The only thing prevent does is prevent you from winning. And either the Steelers caught on way too fast in the second half with what the Browns' offensive game plan was, or Kevin Stefanski was just too afraid to even throw a pass over 5 yards. DTR looked the best when the Browns had to throw the ball more than or past the first down marker during that last drive. That was the best he looked all day. And the guy has incredible arm strength. He's tied for the hardest thrown ball at the NFL Combine in NFL history with Josh Allen at 62 miles per hour. He has arm strength. Okay. The first half was magnificent. The second half, I wanted to rip my hair out. I wanted to rip an eye out. Not literally though, because that probably hurt. I wanted to punch the screen. I wanted to throw it was horrendous play calling. And if anybody is going to defend it, I'm not here for it, because Dorian Thompson-Robinson, in terms of pass yards attempt per dropback, was more than 3 yards less below the league average, or the lowest in the league, which was right around 5. He was below 3. That is worrisome to me. And now listen, the Steelers have a good defense. You want to get the ball out of his hands fast. I get that, because they have TJ Watt. You did a great job not letting TJ Watt wreck the game. But my God, if I have to see another screen pass, if I have to see another little 2-yard pass to a receiver, which gets dropped, they are not going to win many more games playing that way, Mitch, if that's the way they play. Now, I do think a week under his belt and getting that win helps. And I do think you'd expect the playbook to open up. But head coach Kevin Stefanski's done a great job this year. Offensive coordinator Kevin Stefanski, I'm still not happy with. And they better figure out what the game plan is, because I'm not going to sit here every Sunday and eventually a Thursday night game here in the future watching that putrid play calling, because it was terrible. And Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt deserve to have the ball more, because
that
never tried that game. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson still had 43 passing attempts.
Yeah.
That to me is not a recipe for success for this team.
It's not. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying in the sense of, not being able to get the ball that field. I think the emphasis was get the ball out of your hands more as a young kind of raw rookie. You don't want to just keep getting so long in the pocket that, you end up getting pounded with sacks and you know, it's going to affect your play calling for the remainder of the game. Because of that, you're not usually able to take a number of shots downfield. It's tough for the wide receivers to get out there, but I do think they had too many passing attempts. Maybe if they should have gone to Hunt and Ford throughout the more of that game. I mean, you saw Hunt make that amazing vault over a human being that late in the game that helped the team. So I don't know. Maybe we can focus on that more.
That's 2 weeks in a row now, in the last 2 wins, that you've been able to point out a play in which I feel like the Browns kind of rallied around it. In Baltimore, it was the Njoku catch and run, and then it was the Jerome Ford run where the offensive line kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Okay. It kind of felt like, oh, okay, like there's something different about this team. And then the Kareem Hunt run, for him to hurdle, give himself up because he got nailed after that. Once he landed, I felt like that was another play where it was like, oh, okay, like these guys are playing to win. Where sometimes it's like, hey, we're playing, but like let's not turn the ball, let's not fumble. Like it's been different. I feel like for the first time, you've been able to pull out 2 plays from the past 2 games and say, this is different. We haven't seen this before.
No, yeah. Myles Garrett has essentially locked up defensive player of the year. He could sit out the next 6 games. I wouldn't even care if he.
Please don't though. I have him over 50.
No. I know. Yeah. But look, the guys that should have. I went back and forth if that should have been a safety. Yes, he fell in the end zone. I don't think his feet were in the end zone though. So by technical rule, I don't know if that's.
It's the ball.
The ball, nah. All right.
The ball has to be completely outside the end zone, which Kenny Pickett started to turn when Myles came, and Gene Steratore said it was a safety, and that Kevin Stefanski should have challenged it. And then I thought the next one was a safety as well.
No, it wasn't in the script. So